Serving a full-time mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a unique experience. Men between the ages of 18 to 25, women over the age of 19, and even retired married couples submit an application to church leadership in Salt Lake City and receive an assignment call, oftentimes to a place they've never been. Then, for a period of typically 18 to 24 months, they live with people they've never met before, sharing their innermost feelings about their love for Heavenly Father, the Savior Jesus Christ, and how there are living prophets on earth today, with the same authority as prophets of old, such as Moses. These missionaries, known as elders and sisters, serve the people in their assigned areas and do so unselfishly, and the experience gained benefits them throughout their life.
My name is Nicholas Wearne, and I served in Lisbon, Portugal. That was the name of the mission at the time. Served in several different areas, but Lisbon, Portugal was the mission.
We served in Denmark, the Copenhagen Danish mission.
I served my mission in the Guatemala City North Mission, speaking Spanish.
Well, we are the Clemmens. This is Christina. I'm Zeke. Where did you serve your mission, man?
Served in the best mission ever. That would be the Kentucky Louisville mission, Spanish speaking. And Zeke was called to the second best mission.
The second best, huh? Okay. I served in Kyiv, Ukraine.
I was called to the New England mission, which at that time consisted of the New England states. What was there, 6 of them or something? Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and the 3 maritime provinces up in Canada, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and even extended into Greenland.
I'm Bethany Anderson, and I served in the Utah Provo mission back when it covered the majority of Utah.
Probably the most memorable would be one day we had decided to fast all day, not eat all day, and we're praying and making that sacrifice in the hopes that we would find a new investigator. We hadn't found a new investigator in quite a long time. Everything fell through that day, meaning all of our appointments canceled on us, and it was the very end of the day. We went in at 9:30 typically. It was 9:25 and we were knocking some doors, and we were by our house and we hadn't gone in for lunch or for dinner. And so we said, you know what, let's just call it a day and go inside. But my missionary companion said, no, you know what, we've worked this hard. We're going to finish out the day strong, even if we don't find anybody. And it wasn't, but you always hear these stories, but it was the next door that we knocked on. That there happened to be a family there, a family of 5. I didn't get to stay in the area long enough, but that family of five went on to get baptized. And so that was just a really memorable experience for me. You know, I felt like we had really shown the Lord a lot of faith in fasting all day and in doing a lot of this stuff. And it was just cool for us to find those new investigators at the end of the day like that. I felt like he was really listening to us and really cared about us and cared about the people in the island where I was serving.
One thing, I guess we always got excited when someone important from the church would come. And Elder Bednar came while we were there. That was interesting because our mission president at that time could not be there to that Zoom conference. And so it was up to the APs to direct the whole thing, the whole Zoom conference. And they did a really good job, and I think they surprised themselves. They were good.
Some of the strongest memories, I think, are associated with arriving at the mission field and then coming home. And my first area was in Santa Cruz, Verapaz, and they sent me on a bus there with another elder. We dropped him off at one stop, and then I was by myself on the bus until the next stop. And sitting on this bus with these Guatemalans that I couldn't quite communicate with, and chickens and all of that kind of stuff. It was just a different world to me. There was a certain feeling about the country that set in that I can still kind of return to any time in my memory.
I think the best experiences are always teaching, and I think it's the people that you really learn to love that you just, those moments become precious to you. A brother in our ward who had just been baptized, and I noticed his hair was getting really long, and he's the only member in his family. I said, hey, I'll tell you what, would you like a haircut? And I never offered to cut anyone's hair in the mission. And he said, oh, that would be so helpful. My wife actually has cancer. She was just diagnosed. And normally she would cut my hair, but she can't lift her arms up. And so I was like, yeah, well, no problem. We'll go ahead and we'll cut your hair. So we didn't know this, but no missionaries were ever allowed to go in his house because his wife was actually a Wiccan. So in come the sister missionaries, and I'm there with my hair cutting stuff, and just, hey, we're here to cut your hair. And I sent my companion in to talk to her just because the kitchen was so small, and it turned out that that was one of the ways that Heavenly Father got us into that household to share the gospel. Just by having my companion talk to her just on her own level, not about church things, just whatever she wanted to say, because we were there for service, and she ended up being baptized, and their whole family was baptized.
So while I was on my mission, the temple was in Ukraine, in Kyiv, was dedicated, and to see, I don't know, the anticipation and then to see members so excited about going to the temple was really powerful experience. It was so neat to be a part of the cultural celebration as well. And gosh, they have worked so hard for that temple. It was neat because we as missionaries, we had a lot of opportunities to not exactly help in the construction, but do things that I never thought I would do. Like, if you ever go to the Kyiv Temple, I put up some of the strands of jewels, I guess you call them, crystals on the chandelier in the celestial room.
I think to see some of the individuals come into the church and to know the progress that they made, and in particular one family, he became a patriarch, served a mission, now passed away, but his wife is still there, and the posterity of those two, the brother and sister, just, I don't know, you're probably approaching 60, 70 people at least, maybe even 100.
We developed relationships with some of the tour buses that were frequently coming through that area. I don't speak French. A lot of those people spoke French. We would have sister missionaries that were called specifically to the visitor center who spoke French. So whenever the tour buses would come, the rest of us would grab our French copy of the Book of Mormon and just smile and be pleasant, but that was all we could do. So I was in the back room, and the French-speaking missionary was talking about temples. And all of a sudden, this lady in English looks at me, and I'm kind of across the room, and she looks at me, and she has kind of an angry tone. And she's like, why can't I go inside there? Why can't I go inside that building? And it was one of those moments where it was a gift of words that came out of my mouth. I just responded, you can, you just have to be prepared. And for her, that was enough of a, she was satisfied with that answer. Which makes, and it was something that later I was wow, that was really profound. Everyone can go to the temple, every single person can, you just have to be prepared.
There was a new missionary that had been assigned to me, so I was training him, showing him the ropes in regard to the language. I was training him in regard to, the way missionary life works and what we do and the area. I was struck by how intense this companion was. He was very fun and everything he did, but also very passionate, very intense. And he had this saying, and he'd say, if you're going to throw it down hard. Meaning, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do something, do a good job at it and give it your all. And so that transferred with him, watching him as a new missionary, try and learn the language, try and take on everything, take in everything that is being a missionary and adapting and changing his lifestyle, really motivated me to be a better missionary myself, and to if I'm going to do this, I'm going to spend 2 years doing it, I might as well do the best that I can.
My first companion, Hermana Cruz, my trainer, I remember I came out on the mission and I was shocked with how many rules there were. There were rules for everything. And there came a point where I almost was just like, I don't think I can do all of these rules. But if anything, my companion taught me just obedience. And obedience without looking back. That it truly was something that she just set the example of how to be obedient in every area with everything. And it was something I was grateful to learn at the very beginning of my mission, because it changed the rest of everything. From other companions, I had several that lost their father right before the mission, and I learned that the role of father does not end after death, that it continues, that it's an eternal calling, and that they were a great part in the work as well. And we could feel their presence, and we knew the powerful influence they were having.
It's funny, it's not all that catchy, but the main one I can think of is tudo bem. Means is everything good? Everything's awesome? Tudo bem. It's often posed as a question, and then also an answer. Tudo bem? Yeah, tudo bem. Like, is everything good? Yeah, everything's good.
I was joking about, the Danish language. They joke it's not a language, it's a throat infection. That's what the Danes say. They love to get the missionaries to say certain things that are very difficult. And one of those phrases is, and then they laugh and laugh. And I finally discovered that they can't say, one of the streets we have here in Tempe is Rural Road, and they can't even begin to say Rural Road, so I didn't feel so bad not being able to say.
Sometimes people would say in response to something that they approved of, calidad. Literally that means quality, not something that we would say in English, but they said it in Spanish all the time, calidad. And so as missionaries we repeated that a lot to express our enthusiasm for something.
But we had like a mission picture. It was like a picture of this horse that was like straining and carrying a plow. I just have that burned into my brain.
I think the biggest thing that has helped me in my life in regard to my mission, really, as far as talents or skills go, is just relating to people. People you don't even know, relating to people, being able to talk to people is a life skill that I've utilized. I do a lot of marketing in regard to my job now, and being able just to go up to people that I don't know, that have the potential to send us business, and say, hey, you should send us business. Where, a lot of people don't get the business just because they're too afraid to go up to the person.
It would probably just be the simple importance of how to love people. Love is kind of a natural thing that we all learn one way or another. But by nature, you learn to love the people that you serve, and the amount of love that I had for those people that I served and that I worked with and that I got to know was really deep. It was an attachment that was really hard to let go of when I came home, and that's a lesson that I've carried with me in life, that as I get to know people, I naturally tend to love them, and if I want to love people more, I get to know them more. So
I think just teaching people and learning how to react with them, and then working together. And then in the mission home, it was a whole different ballgame because it was all administrative. So it's all of that administrative deal that helped me later on.
Organization is what I learned. Finding rides, finding meals, doing all the things. I felt at points that I was preparing myself to become like the ultimate soccer mom.
My testimony is that, I have, it's a big decision to serve a mission, and lots of people choose not to go. And anybody who were to ever ask me, should I go, I would say two things. I would say anybody who does go should go for themselves. Meaning, if you're going to go on a mission, make sure you're doing it because it's what you believe is true and what you want to do, not because you're feeling pressured to do it by a family member or because it's what everybody does. I just feel like you'll have the best results if the reason that you're serving is for you. If you serve and you're there because you want to be there, my other testimony is it can be a marvelous experience in your life. It teaches you how to focus on other people rather than yourself. Like a catalyst for growth, I've always said. A catalyst is something in nature that speeds up a chemical reaction. I think it speeds up your spiritual maturity. I think it helps you develop a relationship with the Lord faster than you would be able to develop if you just stayed at home. Not that you won't be able to catch up, or there are return missionaries who go inactive and maybe lose some of that. And so it's not the end-all be-all serving a mission, but I definitely think that it is a catalyst for growth and would recommend it to anybody as long as they're serving for the right reasons.
It was a great mission, and we had great missionaries.
Yeah.
They were really dedicated and devoted. A lot of fun. It was a great experience.
Yeah. Just comparing the two times I was in Denmark, the number of members in Denmark is up slightly, not tremendously, but the nice thing is the tremendous depth of ability of the members today. 50 years ago, many of the branches had missionaries as branch presidents. Now there are good, strong members in every branch, and the mission president and his wife are Danish natives. There are 2 stake presidencies in Denmark that are as fine as you'd find anywhere in the church. They're now second and third generation members in that country, and very capable, very dedicated, just tremendous people operating the church.
The way that my mission ended was not conventional at all, because it ended 2 or 3 months earlier than I anticipated it to. I was heading to a district meeting, and again on the bus, had an accident while trying to exit the bus and get off, where the bus driver continued going as I was stepping off the back of the bus, and so it resulted in me falling and hitting my head and having a pretty severe head injury. So my mission essentially ended in a hospital where they put me into a coma for 6 days and did some brain surgery to take care of some things. So I still have a scar from that, a little souvenir from the mission that reminds me of that experience, because it really was very miraculous to me to come out of that. And when I learned that people were fasting and praying for me and all of that, it gave me an overwhelming sense of humility that I can never forget and I can never fully appreciate, I think.
I speak a lot of Spanish, and my Portuguese is a little bit rusty, but eu sei que vive o Senhor, sei que o Evangelho de Jesus Cristo é verdadeiro. Eu gosto muito de Portugal e, como eu disse, eu sei que vive o meu Senhor Jesus Cristo e também o Pai, também Deus. E isto o digo no nome de Jesus Cristo. Amém.
Tengo un testimonio de este evangelio. Sé que tenemos un profeta en ese día y estoy muy agradecido de tener las escrituras. Sé que son las palabras de nuestro Padre Celestial por nosotros en estos días. Sé que también las familias pueden ser eternas, que el templo es un lugar sagrado y que podemos sentir el Espíritu Santo muy fuerte adentro. Yo sé que también los convenios que tenemos son para nuestro beneficio, para ayudarnos en esta vida y para prepararnos a vivir con nuestro Padre Celestial de nuevo. Y estoy muy agradecido por mi misión, por la oportunidad de servir a las personas en Kentucky, y yo sé que no es el fin. Todavía estoy siguiendo en la lucha cada día, y yo sé que estamos aquí en esta vida para prepararnos por la eternidad. Y yo quiero seguir y perseverar hasta el fin.
No, я ніколи не думав, що до моєї місії, щоб я розмовляв українською мовою, чи що я просто був в Україні. Я так вдячний, що дійсно на мене це чудо, що я знаю українську мову, і що я можу розмовляти з людьми там і тут. Я вдячний, що я мав можливість служити дітей мого небесного батька. Я дуже вдячний, що він довіряв мені служити їм і навчати їх Євангелії. Я знаю, що Ісус Христос, Він...
I had always wanted to serve a mission. I feel like the things that I tell people who are about to serve mission, like the advice that I give to people that are about to serve is mostly just telling them that it's hard. It's hard, and yet it's also really beautiful and sacred to be able to devote all of your energy during a short period of life, all of your energy on what matters the most, which is the salvation of people. And I guess I know that for me, a mission became a time where I learned to rely on my Creator, my God, my Heavenly Father. I learned how to access the atonement in different ways for that strengthening and that support. I do treasure the time that I got to be missionary. I had always wanted to be one. And being able to serve was a childhood dream come true for me. It was also just a really beautiful chance to in the process of helping others further understand and become familiar with myself and my own relationship with deity. And so because of the focus, because of the consecration of time and energy, there's such a heightened state of spiritual awareness and such a gift that is a part of that mantle of being a representative of Jesus Christ. And I'm grateful that I got to do that. And I'm grateful that those feelings, those sacred moments of feeling the Spirit, teaching people and seeing them, seeing that light go on inside of them, seeing that moment of them feeling that witness for themselves, like those are special and beautiful. When I was leaving the mission, I felt like I had rock pounded into me. There's actually a at the St. George Temple, that land used to be kind of swampy, and they took lava rock and they pounded it into the ground to make the ground solid so that they can have the foundation of the temple be firm. But it was a process of 18 months that those pioneer builders pounded the rock into the ground, and I remember at the end of my mission, I honestly felt that analogy to be true in my own life. If I take time to reflect and consider how my mission affected my life, I can trace back a lot of my rooted testimony and feelings of testimony, knowing inwardly through work to gain that testimony, but also through experience, knowing that those, basically that it does root down to a lot of those feelings and experiences that I had there, that I'm grateful that I still feel connected and able to rely on my Savior for strength, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful to know that the priesthood is restored and that ordinances are available to bless our lives and to allow us greater access to the atonement.